how are you acquiring those rockets? Are you rotating a late sniper on over towards there? Are you just holding people off? Are you going to flank? But I personally have been more of a believer in especially in Halo 3, controlling rockets and that side of the map, because I felt like getting sword side of the map or getting courtyard side was not as powerful until you actually got a flank. Now things change quite a bit different in Infinite, as you can sprint, as your shots connect a lot harder cross map. Like sword wasn't as viable of an option unless you had sniper over there. You couldn't really do as much damage with VR. You could maybe hit someone at training a little bit, but here in Infinite, the sword side is a lot more powerful, and you can do something more as a flanker even if you do not have the sniper.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I feel like Longhorn rocket side is still the preferred way you want to run that flag through. But we actually saw Space Station Gaming kind of evolve the meta, and they ran, I think, 2 out of 3 flags on Empyrean CTF later within the tournament on the sword side of the map, which was so surprising. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't know what's happening here. Are they trying to change up? Because it looked like they were favoring the sword side of the map.
Well, one thing that happens as you go from different iterations of the map to different games, some people just take in those old learnings and they say, all right, well, this is the side to run it, this is the way to do it. But anytime you come into a new game, you have to evaluate, why wasn't a strategy done before? Was it because of very specific spawns? Was it because of shot registration? Why did this not work in the previous iteration? And certain things like that, with all the different mechanics here, you know, Halo 3 all the way to Halo Infinite is a lot of difference. And so I do think it's worthwhile exploring and seeing which ways you can run that. But more often than not, I still feel like a lot of the old strategies work. So we're going to have to see what holds true, breaking down the new game and figure out these new routes that are viable, or just sticking with the good old solid long haul and green runs.
Old and busted, okay? I want some new strategy. You know, old and busted, new hotness. I'm saying there's a difference. I want to see some sword.
For those at home didn't see, when Tony said old and busted, he gestured both hands towards my direction, and then when he went to new and hotness, he gestured towards himself, just for those that didn't see on the camera.
I'm trying to figure out how you have a call out on Empyrean and on Recharge, and I don't. I want to call out. I'm a little jealous, but.
hey, I don't think they still have the dumpsters there on the map here on Empyrean, so I'm not sure if we'll be able to do it there, but maybe we can turn back time.
I was just told I can't call for break, because I was just told that game 1 is about to be on its way. Empyrean, capture the flag. 2 snipes, rockets, overshield, everything that you want on a map. When that music starts, that means it's time to get heated.
And here we go. I think we know who's going to be grabbing snipes on both these sides, and we're going to see how aggressive they decide to play with these snipes as it kicks off. So let's see how both these squads decide to push on out at the beginning here on Empyrean CTF. Game is loading. As Tony said, there are too many weapons and power-ups to focus on, so allocate your resources accordingly, as these teams absolutely are going to be grabbing snipe, and we'll see how many people are sent towards rockets. There's going to be some, at least, and it looks like 2 on each side. That's going to be TriPPPeY and team pushing in towards rocket, getting the first touch on it, but that's a lot of damage coming in, and decides just to do a premature rocket. Works out. Someone's hiding over in my spot, but he does not know it and decides to back on out. So that's going to be Formal, or I believe this one's TriPPPeY here, so we will find out here in a moment. Yeah, we'll get this camera sorted, but that one's going to be TriPPPeY on your screen with that early rocket snag.
High risk, high reward. Get in there, snatch the rockets, get right into the face of your opponents. That's what Optic do, but it looks like G1 fighting right back, and now you even see a pull going in favor of bubu dubu and G1. TriPPPeY doing everything possible to trade out his life there. Flag sitting in no man's land.
Yeah, flag in the middle. Suppressed, just trying to buy some time for these other members of G1. But that's going to be 3 down. Lucid, the last one alive, gets 2, but this is going to be tough to stop here. Tries to repulse the grenade away, but you have to learn when to let that flag go. That's going to be first cap and first blood going in for G1.
Falcon comes in, and there it is. But the slay's now going in favor of Optic Gaming, so we could see a counter cap opportunity, especially with Suppressed end up going down. That flag is now moving the complete opposite way, and I don't see any overextenders.
I do not see a way to stop this here from G1, but this is also surprising. I felt like that slight overextension from Lucid was going to be any sort of stops of getting any sort of counter cap there, but felt like Optic decided to keep that pressure on as that flag was moving across the map, got slays, got position, and got a flagpole.
We've been constantly talking about how slow the meta's been for Empyrean capture the flag, but within a minute and a half, we already see 2 flag caps on the board. Both teams in equal ground here. Now we're going to find out who can put that third in. We see TriPPPeY already advancing into enemy territory, already behind enemy lines. There's a player on the tower side that he must deal with.
Yeah, just laying down some shots. TriPPPeY right now just being a distraction. TriPPPeY is not going to move this just yet until he hears from his teammates that things are safe. This is just going to try to distract the G1 members so that they do not know where to focus on the map. One constant pressure that's always been done, not just in Halo, but all top games, is this allocation of attention, knowing how and when to divert players and teams to focus on different areas of the map and make sure that they put the right players at the right time, and it just forces the other team into making mistakes.
TriPPPeY going on a killing spree before going down, started this game off 7-1 with an assist to go along with it. That's what you want to see out of your X Factor player like TriPPPeY. I also want to see rockets in the hands of Sab, a main damage dealer. Watching the green side, nades are starting to come in, just avoids that damage narrowly. More nades coming in. You better be careful. Sab goes down and doesn't fire a rocket.
Let's be real. As soon as that rocket player is spotting there, it's still a spot you can hold down and likely get a kill there, but you just have to know that you're spotted out, and you can be at threat for insta-explodes, just random grenades coming in through. Don't expect somebody just to walk right by that opening when rockets have been guaranteed in that position.
2-1 lead for Optic Gaming. Only 2 down for Optic, so no real counter cap opportunity for G1. Nobody actually in the base, but out of nowhere, Sab and Falcated back-to-back kills. That's going to put Optic a fresh 2 down. Falcated wins another big gunfight there, and now we could see another flag be pulled. They just have to deal with APG.
Yeah, and that was such good positioning by Falcated. One, doing great shots, helping watch Sab's back over near training side. Secondly, just backing away from that melee. Yes, APG ended up getting the kill on Falcated, but the whole point being is avoiding those melees and those trades when you are across the map and when you have that advantage.
It's a 4v2 scenario here. G1 certainly have the numbers, that sword side run coming in and actually already advancing towards the base. Falcated is so confident that he's going to sit in Optic's base and continue to apply pressure here. It looks like we could see a 2-2 tie with Suppressed punching in another flag cap.
That is correct. 2-2 tie, but also, like you said, Falcated behind enemy lines. This could be a situation that Falcated can get a sneaky pull. You don't need all the slays in the world if you have staggered spawns and teams disoriented. So it doesn't look like it's going to be an additional pull, but Falcated still just being a thorn in the side until Lucid able to clear that threat out. Next up is going to be this overshield. Both teams will be focused on this in the next 20 seconds.
Looks like Suppressed wants to make sure his perimeter side is covered, but now he's in the middle of 3 different members of Optic Gaming. It is not going to work out well for him as Suppressed ends up going down, and now we see rockets and overshield coming up in less than 5 seconds. Formal having to get into an individual gunfight, a perfect kill onto 1. Lucid able to get away with the rockets, but not able to get away with his life.
Yeah, and rockets not fired, which is also a rarity at this point. Generally, when players are about to die, they're able to at least fire one of those off, but looks like Lucid wanted to be a little greedy and bring that back towards his team, and we're going to have to see. Now, Lucid has to fight against those rockets on his side. Formal trying to create this distraction, but here's the allocation of resources I talked about before, Tony. If the members of G1 don't focus on Formal, instead just push on out, they don't have to worry about it. They have a 4-on-3 across the map.
Lucid manning the tower side, but all of his teammates 3 down. G1 once again looking to get into the base. Lucid trying to buy time for the rest of his team to come up, but time is up. That flag is being pulled. Lucid checking every single corner. Finally finds the backside of 1. Bubu Dubu might have bought enough time for the rest of G1 to get into position as well, but nobody's accounting for Lucid. Another big flank kill comes in. Another return should be coming in as well. Falcated not yet in the play.
Yeah, flag recovered. But we are in a spot now, once again, with snipers coming up. Bubu knowing a player's there, and that's just going to be a counter snipe. Lucid taking out Bubu Dubu. This is going to be an opportunity for Optic. There are 3 down for G1, and this can be so dangerous as you pick up the opposing team sniper and get set up on the tower. Right here, we're going to see Optic holding this sword/turret side, getting spawn kills, and then pushing for the flag.
Navigating through the sword side as another body shot comes in with the sniper. Wants to get more than that. The assist pops up on the screen. That's going to tell Lucid he has to get aggressive. The long-range shot from G1 off the spawner, well, but numbers are still going towards Optic. They still want to get aggressive here.
Well, it looks like both these teams pumping the brakes just a moment. They realize tie game and this next cap can kind of determine everything. It determine if your team has to force a push and a pull, or if they can sit back and capitalize on mistakes. So that's why both these teams are so timid at this moment. They don't want to walk in, give it that first kill, and spiral into a potential cap.
Lucid making sure he checks every single corner. Beautiful shot onto the tower side. Bounces right back with the BR. 1-2 combo now coming in for Optic. A killing spree comes in. Lucid starting to heat up once again. And now we're seeing Optic get onto G1 side. Another round of slays, and we will see another flag pulled.
They have two snipers over here on Rockets trying to break through. And you'll notice one thing that's so smart here from Lucid and Formal in the situation is they keep pushing over to the opposing team's green. Most people might be wondering why they don't just sit over at the rocket spawn, and you want to take up ground. Take the fight to the opposing team instead of getting surprised right around that corner. So I really like how they tried to take over more ground on G1's side. But looks like it's going to be a little base swap. G1 decided to just sprint on over towards Optic base, but is it successful? Probably not. They're just getting picked off. That's going to be 3 down. Sab, the last one remaining, trying to stop TriPPPeY from pulling this flag. Can he get the kill? TriPPPeY takes him out, and this looks like it's going to be a flag moving across long haul here for Optic Gaming.
All of the resources, all of the slays, and all of that momentum going in favor of Optic Gaming. G1 have to make something happen off the spawn, but it looks like they didn't spawn over toward the court side. It looked like they spawned over towards Shoddy side.
They had some spawns in courts. I wonder how those other spawns ended up getting on over there. Not sure exactly if that was spawns or somehow if those players just ran straight through the pit and stopped TriPPPeY before he was able to get towards Needler.
Another 3 down for G1, so even though Optic weren't able to strike first when they had that pull come in, it looks like they're ready to go in for another one, but a huge pivotal going in favor of G1. Suppressed going in, and you can hear him getting loud.
Give that player his opportunity, and he is going to shine. Suppressed, the second most kills on his team, and pulling up a clutch double kill there to stop a potential flag from Optic Gaming.
Finally, Formal able to heat check Suppressed a little bit. Meanwhile, looks like bubu dubu might have been able to get away with that sniper. Formal starting to push up onto the long haul side. This can be important. G1 have to deal with Formal. You cannot allow him to be in your base like this. You cannot allow him to be that forward player for Optic.
Yeah, you know that things are probably safe and good when Formal's put up here. Formal always takes some very cautious routes. I wouldn't say he's not an aggressive player, but I would say he's a calculated player when he's moving across the map. He's not just going to go slide into a room uncertain of where these teams are in a standoff. He is moving over there when he knows there's an opportunity to take over some safe ground. So good push up there by Formal, eventually shut down. And now Optic on the defense as they know snipers over at opposite green. And I believe OS coming up soon along with everything else.
Falcated puts his 15th kill on the board here. It looks like G1 momentarily controlling the long haul side, but Optic Gaming able to come off the spawn, able to get into position. Formal gets himself a huge double. TriPPPeY comes at it, and now G1 are 3 down once again, and Optic are already pulling another flag.
Yeah, and they know the push is going to be coming from tower side. They know that they gave up overshield. So there was that trade that I was talking about before, Tony. Used to do that all the time in Halo 3 is take rockets, give up OS. And looks like they decided just to hold this training sesh rocket side. And look at that double kill from Formal. Making a triple as he gets a snipe on Sab. That's going to be a cap coming in, and it's an overkill. Back smack for the overkill.
Formal absolutely going off. You cannot let this man in your house. You certainly can't let him into your kitchen, and you cannot let this man cook like that. Man, he's watching overextenders. He's the forward-placing player. He's literally the reason why Optic put that flag in, and now with 1 minute 10 seconds, G1 are on the clock.
G1 are going to have to push on through, and if pushes have been unsuccessful the last 5 minutes, how are they going to make it happen right now? Now, especially that Optic can stay a little bit higher ground. They can play a bit more defensive. Look at Formal now. His position is top tower. realizing that he does not need to push on through long haul and be in lower positions. So it's going to be tough enough to get a cap against Optic, but it's going to be even tougher with time ticking against you and Optic playing defense.
More time being drained off the clock here, and G1 haven't found the way into Optic's base until the first kill goes in favor of bubu dubu. Sab ends up getting caught, but Falcated gonna bounce right back in. Now green side control for Falcated, but where's the help? They need to get in. You only have 25 more seconds.
25 seconds. That's going to be Falcated bubu trying to hold the line. Formal has a flank over from Sword or Train, it looked like. Nope, still on top turret. Just doing a fantastic job. Not sure how he got that angle over in the guy over at long haul. But 10 seconds left. Optic are just going to try to stop this flagpole. Suppress got double kill. He knows people are going to come from Plat or somewhere quick.
Ooh.
And look at this desperation push.
Ooh.
Do they get the pull? They do get in time. That's 3 down. Lucid, the only one alive. Over in the Mangler. Gets taken out. That's going to be flag moving across the map. And Optic are spawning over at court and trying to make their way through cuts.
G1 with ice in the veins, able to get the kills possible with that 1 second mark, and the flag does end up getting pulled, but Optic bounced right back. Now G1 find himself 3 down, and we see 1 moving in for the return. There's not a single member of G1 in sight. There was 1, but now he's off the map. It looks like Optic taking game 1.
Optic making it a little scary there at the end. I thought they did so good with their defense, but a last-minute push, a coordinated push there from G1 just breaking through. So kudos to them, but that was an incredible game. Went down to the wire.
When I was looking at some of the slays across the board, I saw Falcated putting up some bombs. I saw Formal put up some bombs. But one thing I also noticed, APG, not only was he up there with the kills, but the man had like 20 assists in that game as well. So putting damage, whether he gets the kill, whether his teammates does, the only thing that matters is G1 went 3 down multiple times, and Optic ended up with that 1 cap lead.
Yeah, I mean, across the board there, when I looked at the Optic assist, it was 49 assists with APG pulling in 20 of them. About 40% of the team's assists.
And that's really what makes Optic so tough to deal with. You know, lots of times when, you know, some of the casual fans are looking at, oh, Optic are the best in the world. That's the reason why they have HCS points. They're the best slayers. I'm like, no, it's about that teamwork. It's about that objective efficiency. Optic are one of the best teams in the world because they're so well-rounded and don't have any real weak game types or map counts within their arsenal. The reason why they're the best is the well-roundedness.
Yeah, they don't really, like you said, it's true. It's not like they have a very obvious strength or weakness that you can exploit. They're just good all around. I mean, that's how it goes when, if you're, you know, the team that's going to win World Championship, you can't just be like, oh, guess what? They're total garbage at Empyrean or Streets. Like, no, they're the best team. They're going to know how to play everything. Sure, they have certain things with higher percentage win rates or lower percentage win rates, but overall, they're just going to be good nonstop.
One thing I noticed about G1, though, they ain't afraid of Optic. They are not afraid whatsoever. They came in, they infiltrated Optic's base multiple times. They got those important slays when it was really necessary. And more importantly to me, I feel like at times G1's teamwork was up there with Optic Gaming. You saw the bait and switches. You saw the multitasking, taking over one side of the map while also addressing power weapons at the same time. The one thing I like about G1 is that they're not backing down. They are willing to challenge Optic at every single corner.
They are indeed, and I also respect and appreciate that they're sticking to what I feel is their game plan. They aren't playing completely different as Optic, and that happens so many times. A lot of times these teams will go against the #1 seed or #2 seed and be like, hey, we just need to play way different. We need to switch things up to beat them. It's like, well, if you're trying to do that, good luck. Like, you're not playing the way you practice. You're not playing the way that you're comfortable, the way that your teammates can prepare and expect you to play. So it seems like they're just treating them like any other team. They're challenging fights. They're winning fights. It's super impressive.
So I got a question for you, because I know you've never been in this scenario. So imagine that you're down 0-1 in the series against the favorites. I know you were always the favorites. That's fine. But you're down 0-1 in the series against the favorites. Going into this game 2, what's the mindset like? What's the mentality like for you to be able to bounce back and ultimately tie up the series?
I mean, you're asking me something I can't even imagine. Like,
try.
What's the mindset of a unicorn or a dragon? You know, it's unfathomable to me. But if I had to take a step back and think of what it's like to be the lower seed and down in a series, or to be like a unicorn or something like that, I think that I would anticipate a squad like that. They need to take the good from what happened in the last series. Realize, all right, who's winning fights? Who's on fire? Who can we lean into and empower? Secondly, stick in your game plan, reiterating and looking forward, saying, all right, hit flag's done. If we had a missed fumble with a flag or let some counter caps, let that go. Look towards the next round. And then lastly, have confidence in yourselves. Like I said, you cannot change your game plan. You can do small little tweaks here or there, but you cannot just go out thinking that you're going to do it all on your own. You're not going to fly out and 2v1 all these players in Optic. It's not going to happen. You need to win as a team. But take a look at those stats for a moment. That was incredible. It looks like suppressed a little lower than TriPPPeY that series, but also what's going to happen is that game one, it's tough.
Yeah, well, maybe it wasn't unicorn magic, but it was still some magic happening. Two of your X Factors going at it, and Suppressed being the newly acquired one on G1, again, in place of Suspector. He's going out, he's showing what he's made of, kills, assists, doing everything he can to be that leading damage dealer that G1 need him to be. Going into Slayer Live Fire, though, one of the most punishing maps that we have on the circuit. Like, when you go down, if you get spawn trapped over toward that A corner, when you get spawn trapped over toward that green side, things can snowball and really get out of control. Optic have an advantage here. G1, what do they need to do to not get trapped?
I think there's always that balance. These top players, they have the good overall picture of what's going on in the game, that macro picture saying, all right, if two of my teammates are down, am I in a position to challenge and take someone else down, or do I need to relocate, reposition, and charge somewhere else around the map? So just having a better picture before things get into a dire situation. You don't want to realize that you're the last one alive as you're already in a fight against one person. You want to understand that one of your teammates is already down, another one's about to fall, or it's not looking good, so that you can make the best decision for 5-10 seconds down the road for your spawning teammates.
The one thing I do love about G1, though, is that you have multiple damage dealers on your team. Not players that are like really looking to bait, but really looking to get in there, shoot their guns, and do damage. And that's really valuable, because even if they go down, their teammates are going to be there to get the cleanup. They're going to be able to bait and switch. They're going to be able to go toe-to-toe. So I'm hoping that ultimately G1 can, like you said, avoid going 3 down by taking advantage of the damage that you know Suppressed is going to do, that you know Sab is going to do, even if they go down while doing just that.
Yeah, and this one's going to be a faster game as well. It looks like we are going into Street Slayer. Maybe we were incorrect on Live Fire Slayer. We'll find out here in just a second on which one we are hopping into. But whole point being is on Live Fire Slayer, compared to something like Imperial CTF, the flanks are not going to be as long or exaggerated. There's going to be a lot quicker action. So there's times where maybe these members of G1 were flanking through, running through runway, running through long haul, something like that, and being a couple seconds late to the fight. It's not going to be the same here in Live Fire. You're just going to be a lot quicker, a lot faster. So I would expect these players and teams, these players from G1 to be able to help each other a little bit quicker.
For sure. Whether it's Streets, whether it's Live Fire, it is a Slayer game number 2, and it is 2 punishing maps. The only difference is, instead of spawning green and A side, you still spawn Red Room and PD. You still will get punished for going 3 down. And you know what? It actually is Live Fire, and I wanted to see some sniper action.
Well, right off the bat, somehow Formal is able to slip away with that sniper. Already has all over towards back dirt. Only 1 death so far on the map, and he's going to ping a shot or 2 in there through Shroud. Not going to connect, and that's going to be OS in the hands of bubu and G1, Sniper in the hands of Formal and Optic. Now, which one's going to pull away here? Because during this time, it's ticking down. bubu wants to make a push with this. He doesn't want to give up a free shot or body shot to that snipe, but he wants to make a push while this OS is valid and create an opening for his team. Doesn't take that first hit, but trades a melee. OS is no longer in the picture, but the damage has been done. 1 down, and Optic are going to try to hold the fort for their spawner.
Overshoot definitely doesn't last as long as it used to in previous iterations of Halo, but you can still take advantage of that time that you have those extra shields, especially with how small Live Fire is. Get that overshield, get in the action, and allow your team to capitalize through it. That's what G1 do, at least momentarily, but Optic did get away with the heat wave. They have an opportunity to answer back.
They got heat wave, they still have snipe. That's a bit surprising. Optic had 4 down for just a short period of time, or they had maybe the 3 down as their 4th one was spawning, and somehow still able to get back towards tower and get those weapons. So the whole goal of that push from G1 was not just to get kills and then go back to new spawning spots. It was to get those kills, get that sniper back in your hands, and then make a new push after that.
Tower side control here in the hands of Lucid. Snipers out. Going right down to the low ground, trying to take advantage of the green side spawners. This is an amazing angle. If anybody goes to the left side, just barely missing out on the headshot. The BR gonna do the trick as once again Optic get those numbers, and with those numbers, they look to push G1.
Yeah, Bubu was not expecting a sniper to be there near Dummy Door in that situation. And what a sick snipe from Lucid, just challenging over towards the window, grabbing that OS, and Optic are in a comfortable 3-kill lead as they have this OS. They're going to continue to take over these power positions and continue to keep these members of G1 down low where they cannot coordinate.
When G1 had the overshield, we saw that lead go in favor of them by just 2 or 3 kills. Now Optic have that overshield. They already have the lead, and now they're already getting the slays. Once again, bubu, dubu, and suppressed right back to the respawn screen. Optic still looking to hunt down those spawners. I talked about those green side spawners. The moment you come in, you're going to have reticles trained on you.
And they are just continually putting this pressure over towards green like you talked about, Tony. But looks like G1 were able to fight their way out. Despite Optic having that fresh OS and a 3-kill lead, they haven't been able to extend that lead. That's a great sign for your G1 fan because they're able to put the defense on even when Optic have a power-up advantage.
Just a 1-kill lead though for Optic Gaming. G1 have been able to answer Optic back at every single one of their pushes, and now you're seeing Suppressed take the lead here with G1. Right up to the cut side. Bubu Dubu with the sniper, body shot onto one. Nades are starting to come in, and it looks like Optic now, the same way that they were able to punish G1 with those green side spawners, it looks like G1 are trying to turn the tables. They're trying to do the same to them.
Yeah, trying to force it, and we're going to have to see if it works out. Sometimes that can be a detriment right there. Sab and Falcated both pushing towards green, both falling. Yes, there are many times where you have an advantage that should work out in your favor. You should be able to get those kills, but the moment that you try to force it and make a play that isn't really there, you're going to give up kills, and those can be some of the most frustrating because you start to question your team, start to say, why are we not getting these free kills? Why are we not taking advantage of this great situation? And there's generally more information around that. Somebody got hit by a random grenade. Somebody wasn't in position just yet. Certain things don't work out. There's just so many things going on throughout that game.
Bubu Dubu goes down, so it looks like that sniper will end up changing hands for more, not only having the overshield, but having the long gun as well. Body shot into the headshot, BR. He's looking for some more, another quick scope right onto them, and now you're seeing Optic Gaming overwhelm one side of the map, and they're starting to move together, keeping G1 staggered, keeping everybody on spawn.
It's impressive, too. Many people consider green not that strong of position, which it's not. But you saw Optic unafraid to just quick fly in when they have members weak just to clear up those kills and then reposition. They realize that they can sprint across the map really quick, run over towards catwalk, run over to a new position, but they want to be very quick and concise when they're going to secure their kills. They're not just going to hold off a couple positions outside green, wait 5 seconds for reinforcements to come from G1. They're just sprinting right in and getting those kills.
Just a 3-kill game, though, as we see a trade out of the Marty Dom grenade being dropped. Bubu Dubu dropping Lucid from across the map. That's a big kill for Bubu to free up those spawners and for him to allow him to get some map position here. You don't want to get caught. You want to take control of that center map, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. The first one goes down, chases down the next, can't quite find the kill, but here comes the rest of G1.
Yeah, Falcated dodging those grenades, tries to get that pick. He's going to have to back down, gets slightly caught on the corner, and is trying to buy as much time for his teammates. But right now, Falcated is just out of the fight, out of the picture. He has to figure out, does he do a long flank? In fact, he's just going to meet a 1v1 fight. So right here, I feel like Falcated is kind of in a not great position. I feel like he can't really contest much. He needs to get over in a spot where he can help with this OS or help with that snipe. And looks like he rotates on over, grabs the OS uncontested, which means there's a lot of people on the other side of the map. So Falcated's going to sprint on over and try to help towards green and sandbags.
Even though his bottom mid flank ends up being caught by Optic, he's still able to pull out of that situation, grab a hold of that overshield, and now he's at top where you need him to be. Now he's in the face of Optic Gaming as once again they go 2 down. Now firing that plasma pistol. They don't need to charge it, just rapid fire it. Get into them. Optic Gaming now getting cycled here. G1 have a 2-kill lead right when it matters most.
and they have that sniper. OS was used perfectly. When you have overshield, you want to be up in the opposing team's face. You want to be high up, forcing the opposing team to scramble down or fight you and try to trade shield. If they trade shield, guess what? You have more shield than them to trade. You're going to be just fine. But just throughout that exchange, we do see 2 members of G1 fall, suppressed. The new member on this roster trying to hold down top tower, but reaching so much pressure. They have a 3-kill lead, but you cannot give up that sniper. We're going to have to see what Optic do if they get this weapon in their hands.
They trusted the newbie with the sniper. Would you ever trust me with the sniper?
Absolutely. I don't even trust you with half this cast, Tony.
Fair enough. 41-39. G1 take control here, and Formal gets ripped off of the tower side. Falcated still sitting up high with the sniper, daring anybody to cross that mid-angle, daring anybody to get over towards sandbags. G1 are looking good towards the end game.
But, yeah, the fact that they're able to get the snipe back in their hands, and what a sick shot over towards Lucid. This 6-kill lead is going to be very, very difficult here for Optic to somehow overcome. Because when we highlight situations earlier in this map, Optic, they had overshield, they had 3-kill lead. They didn't extend that 3-kill lead. Now you're in a position where you are at a disadvantage. You have new overshield coming up. You had sniper in the hands of Falcated. They're going to have to get this overshield and make a play with it. But as one member falls, the hopes of getting that overshield are starting to fall out. That's going to be Shroud going down. Falcated throwing that OS in. And they are on the hunt. Window taken down. 2 or 3 kills separate G1 from tying the series right up.
G1 do exactly what Optic do best, and that's attack the overshield from multiple different angles, overwhelming it. Nobody from Optic able to contest this overshield, and now it looks like Falcated and G1 are punishing them because of it. They're starting to push up. They're starting to get them out of the green side. They only need 2 more kills to steal game number 2, and it looks like the second one comes in. Now you're just looking for 1 more long-range shots, but Optic, they're going to pull. They're going to go toward the seaside, but suppressed, ready for it. The trade goes in. G1 tie up the series.
And that's, let's be real, it's an impressive scoreline. I would say when you consider all the teams of this tournament, anything without a 50 to 40 plus scoreline is a pretty strong scoreline. So for G1 to do that here against Optic in game number 2, when at moments they were down by 4 or 5 kills earlier in the round, to bounce back and tie up the series, they got to be feeling good.
We talked about G1 just constantly staying in the game, just keeping it close. Even that game number 1, same thing. They kept it close and literally only lost by 1 cap. Almost able to tie it up towards the end. Same thing. Even when they were down, only down by 2, only down by 3, keeping it within striking distance until 1 overshield, 1 sniper. All you need is 1 opportunity to make a play, and G1 saw it, and they took it.
Yeah, anytime I saw the overshield in the hands of G1, I just saw near perfect play with it once they had it. A couple times where I was questioning how they were setting up for it. Worked out in the end when we saw Falcated get that second to last overshield. But once they had it, just getting up in the opposing team's face, trading out damage like I said, not always just making it so it's just a melee trade. In fact, just going to a BR trade damage scenario, and you're just going to win that. You go back green, you have 2 members, 1 with overshield, 1 with full shield. You're just going to get a 2 for 0. And that was exactly how they did it. They perfectly executed it. They backed him into a corner. They cleared up the kills. Then they just secondly flocked the rest of their group to hunt down the last 2 members. So well done there by G1.
Well, every game 2 is always going to be a slayer. And mind you, it's obviously tough to get 50 kills against some of the best in the world. It's still easier to get those slays when that's the only objective. When you're going in and having to play capture the flag or a hill or an oddball and you have to multitask, that's where I want to know, are G1 up for the challenge? They're going to be able to come with that same objective efficiency and teamwork that Optic are coming with.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it. We saw them tied 2-2 in Empyrean flag, so they can absolutely do it. But you do bring up a good point, Tony. Generally, when we see the strongest teams lose games, more often than not, it's Slayer games. Reason being, like you said, is all that objective pressure across the map, players needing to know the bigger picture across the board and knowing where they need to be, when they need to be, when do they give up a kill, when do they need to make a calculated push across the map for the objective. It's a tougher game, and those higher level teams just make those decisions correct more often.
We're really going to test G1's discipline. you know, with watching those overextenders, with making sure that you're always accounting for everyone on the map. And that's one thing that I don't worry about when it comes to G1. They're grinders. They work hard. I have no doubt that going into this game number 3, it might just be different from game 1 in Empyrean CTF. And mind you, they played Empyrean really well. Streets, Strongholds coming up for that game 3. I have faith that G1 not only going to keep this close, but maybe even take the lead in the series.
Impressive, because what we've been seeing so far throughout the series is a game of how fast or slow it can be played. Now, Empyrean CTF, yeah, out of these 3 game modes, has to be played the slowest. Just longer routes you have to take, it's flag, you have to coordinate with a team. Live Fire Slayer, a little bit quicker, a little bit smaller map. Now we're getting here into Streets, Strongholds. This one is going to be even faster than we saw on Live Fire. Just the routes that you can take across the map to coordinate, to push around. These players are going to be able to take sneaky routes, and if they're fast enough, they can sometimes slip through the enemy defense before they get set up.
Yet another map where controlling the power-ups and the power weapons is going to be just as important as making sure you're getting those kills, just as important as even capturing double cap. You might have to sacrifice some objective time to make sure you get the rockets. You might have to sacrifice some objective time to make sure you get the bulldog and use those as a tool to carry you into that 2 cap, into that 3 cap, and ultimately trade seconds for what could be minutes.
Absolutely, and we're going to have to see how are these teams deciding to do when they are down. Yes, all these teams can do so incredibly well when they have the advantage, but what are they doing to mitigate their losses when they have a couple members down? And look at this odd battle here from Sabinater against Optic, just from top dumpster all the way towards top A tower. But it looks like Sab is just waiting for someone to flank all the way through. Looks like that flank never comes, and looks like G1 are opting to go all the way towards A, so the fight isn't going to be towards B Street just yet, but just like that, Suppressed, able to flank through driveway at the exact right time, gets the rockets in hand, and is going to try to secure B.
And I bet that starting strat really kind of threw Optic for a loop. So he was playing that really slow toward the back C side than Sabinator before eventually pushing up over toward the B side. Optic normally expect G1 to get out there right off the rip, so that change in pace might have thrown him off just a bit and long enough for G1 to get into a double cap of their own.
Well, what I also think was great about that situation is I felt like it was kind of even or low on numbers for G1 at the start of that, and when you're down and low in numbers, it's okay to take those longer flank routes. When you have that numbers advantage, though, you want to take those more prominent positions, take the high ground, charge across the map, meet firepower versus firepower. So it was just a really good job from G1 to take a slightly different route, buy some time, and then a flanker was able to come through later.
Speaking of buying time, bubu dubu playing his life so well, buying enough time for not only for him to get his shields back, but for the rest of G1 to start to move in position, clearing out the Bravo side. Stalker rifle is out, does so much damage. Optic finding out the hard way, but where did the flank come from?
Somehow slips on through, but throughout this time, they've been able to get so many kills and just hold on to this B/C setup. We have not seen A or C converted just yet, but as I say that, we see a flank all the way through. I believe it's Lucid or TriPPPeY that went on over to convert C, but it's just going to be an A versus C trade. And you're going to see that kind of happen quite a bit here on Streets unless you get a stronger slaying advantage. Basically, as soon as one team's flanked all the way through, if you didn't meet all that resistance to fight for your own stronghold, you probably have a counterattack of your own.
G1 have come to play, and they are making a statement. 75-0 run, and they're no longer just happy with the double cap. They immediately move in for the trip, but Optic come off a spawn, taking A and Bravo at the same time, but the Slays not going in favor of Optic Gaming. G1 are looking dominant here on Streets.
Had them all down just once again. They know where the spawn is at. They have control all the way across the map, so they know everyone's going to be over in tram. And look at this instant pressure. Falcated behind enemy lines, falls down over at Planters, but looks like G1 were still going to put a little bit of additional pressure just to milk a couple more points there during the total control.
bubu dubu making sure the back A side, nobody spawning over towards PD, making sure you funnel those spawns onto the C side. G1 doing a great job of speeding up when they need to, slowing down and influencing those spawn when it's necessary. Optic trading out C, going immediately for Alpha. G1 recognizes, so the moment that cap goes in, the moment bubu dubu's in the plot, and no point for Optic Gaming.
Yeah, and I like that play from bubu. You consider it this way. When you have your own stronghold there that you could have defended, best case scenario there, you fight somebody over at your stronghold, you win that fight, and you keep just the 2-cap setup. But worst case scenario, you die, the other team gets to control, and they now have 2-cap setup. So what bubu says instead is, let's remove the fight from the equation and just run on over and get a counter cap.
That's what you were known for, right? Running away from fights.
Hey.
You weren't ready to take them 1v1s, right? Always going the flanking route, never going head on.
Just because I got great cardio, Tony, doesn't mean you need to hit me on that one.
Optic double cap comes in, 30 straight points coming for Optic Gaming, and now immediately start to move in for Charlie, going in for a trip cap of their own. Optic, they bounce right back.
Optic bounced back to trip cap. Now we did see how far ahead G1 got with this initial start of the game. How are G1 now going to break out the setup? Looks like they're about to recap C to at least break out the trip cap. That's the first and foremost, most important part. But now the more important part is getting that second one. It looks like kind of easy. They were able to break out. They got C and B, and they once again had the setup that they had at the beginning of this game, which they held comfortably.
I was surprised as you are. G1 just overwhelmed and made it look easy. I'm sure it wasn't, but now to continue to do the same thing. Sabinater taking another pivotal fight. Falcated going right in after Formal. And Optic Gaming are the ones who are consistently being staggered on those spawns and don't have any presence on the map. G1 once again in control.
Somehow G1 also grabbing, looks like A during this cap turnover, so it's going to be an A for C trade. Now, how does G1 set up and bait this? Needs to challenge that. I feel like a second member's yet pushing on over through water cooler. I was going to say it's going to be very rare for a team to push through just one member on driveway after they take over the C tram. Generally, they're either going to send nobody there, or they'll send a couple, or they'll send a late flanker later on after you pushed out. So driveway is going to be a very contested area after you take tram.
More slaves going for the G1 squad. Bubu and the Dubus are really having their way at the moment here. 10-4 right now is Bubu Dubu. 6 assists to go along with, the 11th kill comes in, but now both teams 2 down. This next kill going to be so important. Optic can play through it, but G1 defense too strong.
Next kill is important, but when you're in an even scenario like that, where a team has 2 up on each side, it's going to favor the team that already has the strongholds. The team that has the strongholds, they don't need to put themselves out in the open. They can hide back and wait for someone else to jump in a stronghold and then challenge and likely get that very first shot or coordinate a push together. So generally trading out kills when you're ahead is going to favor the team that's ahead, and that kind of holds true in Slayer, holds true in this objective, especially on strongholds where you do not need to actively be holding that objective.
G1 willing to trade out their lives to hold on to that objective, and it's working for them. Another trip cap comes in, but you're seeing Optic in multiple bases. B-side gonna be cleared out. Long-range rocket gonna come in. It looks like Sab able to deal with him, and G1 making sure that no one from Optic can get into the base.
That last play by Sab was so brilliant because most people would have quick-stepped their toe inside of B to reset it, and then it would have been obvious where that player would have been coming from B Street to challenge A. Instead, Sab just goes all the way towards A to quick keep that trip cap going, and then taps B for the reset. So just that small little difference into when and where you're giving that information or getting that reset was the difference maker for them to secure a few more points.
Optic able to turn things around here right at the 2:47 mark. G1 only need 3 more seconds, but Optic looking to play near perfect Halo and keep them out as once again, G1 go 2 down. Nobody exactly in position to push up, so Falcated slows his roll, but ends up being spotted. Still alive. Falcated and G1 have a chance. They're coming up over toward the A side. They have a triple push over towards B. Will this work out?
I like this relocation here from Falcated and push, but just shut down by some of the shots there from Lucid and squad on Optic Gaming. Totally fine though. So G1, as long as they're giving up a trip cap, as long as they're waiting until they have full power, they can make a few pushes. Optic can stop a few of them. All G1 need is just one successful push. So they don't need to throw everything out at every single time to try and make individual plays. They can just keep trying to do their pushes that have been working. And almost great tracking there by Sab through the shroud, just knowing where this player's going to go over towards tires. And here comes the counter cap. Optic Formal Matt, a.k.a. Formal, is going to be the only one left that's going to be able to stop this, and he has to get over towards A or B right now, and it's not going to happen. That's going to be a lead here for G2. It's going to be G2 up 2-1 in the series over Optic.
G1 coming out with the win. And like you said, there was such a lead difference that even though Optic were able to take control, even though Optic got multiple rounds of slays that were looking good, it felt like it's only a matter of time that G1 just need one round of slays. G1 just need one good push, and eventually that bend but don't break strategy, they got broken.
I love that composure and patience there from G1, because many of the teams in that situation, they would say, all right, you know, we're up by over 150 points. We just need to break one step. Most people might just start charging around, trying to make something happen, get lackadaisical with their pushes. Instead, they stay so composed. You saw Falcated over that entire time near oddball spawn, going up towards ATM, just back and forth, not charging out and challenging, forcing Optic to make a play to kill him, and then relocates over towards tires and makes a push with his teammates. That is so smart and just increases your chances as a team.
G1 have taken the lead in the series, and we said Optic have been looking a little bit weak over the last 3 online tournaments, top 6 in 2 out of 3 of them. Is this G1's opportunity to upset the #1 team in HCS points in pool play?
It is very possible. I mean, I think Optic are not thrilled of where they're at in pool play, let's be real, as they've performed so well throughout most of the online qualifiers. But this is going to be a tough situation. I mean, whoever comes out of this pool is going to be in a pretty spot. And people are going to play the teams in this pool. I got to say, this has got to be the toughest pool, right? I mean, if we're highlighting pools of difficulty here, I feel like this by far has to be the toughest pool here. But let's see if G1 can close this out. One thing I'm noticing is that G1, they outslayed by 18 kills during this last round. So that's a huge significant amount on streets, on Stronghold there. So maybe it could just be the key to it. Just outslay Optic. Easier said than done, but making sure they get their slays on these objective games. Now, we kept talking about how earlier in the series, the game started off with like some larger maps, some longer flanks, some longer routes, and it got kind of shorter and shorter, some quicker and quicker routes and quicker rounds. This next one's going to be King of the Hill on Recharge. So this one's going to be one of those longer flanky route maps. You can't just quickly scurry under somebody, get behind them, get a flank, get some counter shots. This is going to be the team that's going to know their moves premeditated. They're going to want to know, all right, are we pushing someone long all the way over towards top gold or glass, or are we going to go through pipes? They're going to want to know their pushes well in advance so that they're set up for when they're actually making their push together. When we saw that in Imperial CTF, overall, that worked out for Optic. So we're going to have to see how we see G1 kind of adjust from a much faster paced game to, all right, we're going to have to strategically move across this map when we're down or to reposition for this next hill or for this next charge.
Yeah, patience, not just a key, but a weapon that Optic use, and the way
I was going to say a virtue, but somehow they're able to take virtues into weapons.
It's a weapon. Patience and the one that they use, I mean, they always have a play over toward that anchor position. They always have awareness of what's happening on the map. But I will say, this G1 is surprising me. They are looking good. I think it's G1's time. I think G1 can upset Optic Gaming.
I would not count that out at all. I mean, the way that G1 are playing right now and looking, they could close this out not just in a 3-2 fashion. This could be a 3-1 series against Optic. Now, let's see if Optic are able to bounce back here on this slightly slower map. We're going to have to see how they're able to position, how they're able to navigate the map. I do have some faith that Optic are able to slow this down and reposition a little bit better than G1 as they probably talk through some of these strategies with their coach lunchbox.
As much as I love the camouflage, I will say camouflage, what, 30 seconds that it allots you? When I think of Recharge, I love me some shock rifle plays. Like, I feel like the shock rifle just lasts so much longer. You're able to do so much more with it and influence the map. Think of the shock rifle in anybody's hands that's in the lobby right now. They can literally control the game as Falcated looking to push up here, and wow, A-side here again, making it look easy. Now the long-range shots, keeping that gold side player at bay. G1, a valuable time being earned here.
Yeah, and one difficulty there is those two members of Optic that cleared over at Elevator, they were supposed to be the ones that were going to be a second piece to take out the hill. But as soon as those got cleared, all these members over at Golden Pipes do not have an angle to clear out the hill. And because of that, this hill is already over 75% captured. It's almost too little too late here for Optic on this one. I mean, they're probably still going to fight and commit to it if they get the numbers, but at this point, Optic are saying, get Slays, get a little more control. If we have to give up this hill, that's okay, but get Slays in control.
And with the changes that happened recently, I feel like you're able to play a little bit more scrappy when it comes to these hills. Like before, if you hopped in a hill for like a split second, it wouldn't count as you earning points. Like, and you get slayed out right away. Now, once you step into that hill, it goes a little quicker, almost instantaneous. And I think that might favor teams that like to get a little scrappy, get a little dirty with it, like G1.
Yeah, G1 not hesitating to jump on that hill when they have that opportunity. But Optic has their chance to tie this back up. Look at this. Set up all the way across the map. They have a couple stoppers here over towards Pipe, over towards Long Haul. Nobody can get anywhere really near this hill right now towards TriPPPeY. And look at this time. Almost uncontested. You're not even hearing gunshots across the map because of how strong Optic's positioning is. They're just zoning these players out. And such a great, great job there by Optic for the amount of kills that they got and how much time they got. I would take that any day.
And we're seeing another change come into effect here on King of the Hill. Now that hill no longer in the long haul and closed side, and you're able to set up around it to kind of lock it down for as long, it's a little bit more exposed onto the C-ply. So no matter where you spawn, you're within a couple of feet, a couple of seconds from getting that angle.
Yeah, and it's a double-edged sword, to be honest. If a team has a numbers advantage, you almost kind of prefer that that person on C-plat can lay down shots across the map while they're actively getting time in the hill. But it's also, like I said, disadvantage. If your team starts to lose numbers, they can get you out of the hill a lot faster.
Optic Gaming have the advantage so far in this hill, but they're still trying to find some kind of entry, and the player going towards long haul ends up getting caught and dealt with. G1 slaying one, now two, and the final two players are stuck in between tower and seaside. G1 just got themselves some valuable time here. Haven't finished it out just yet, though.
I like that play. Rather than G1 just committing all the resources, charging towards back turbine to get those kills, they both just stay in hill for a moment, fight it out, scrap up 5 or so seconds, and then run back in towards long haul where they know their backs are safe. They're not just charging out randomly to get any random kills. They're fighting strong. That lead that Optic had on the second number hill is gone. G1 has eliminated that. They are about to get a second hill on Optic Gaming, and Optic Gaming could, for the very first time, I feel like, lose a pool play match. I forget the last time I've seen them lose a pool play match.
I mean, it's not over just yet, but I mean, G1 just answered right back and almost steal the second hill away, but here comes Optic. Right through the tower side, they forced themselves over towards C, and just like that, we saw G1 almost steal it away. It looks like Optic might take back what's rightfully theirs, and we might just be tied up at one apiece.
Yeah, it's going to be one apiece. Suppressed just trying to hold down this control room. Knows that that shock rifle is gunning for him, gets taken out. And now, how does Lucid decide to navigate to help on over towards Elevator? He decides just to hit a nasty no-scope there with the shock rifle. Gets the back smack, gets the camo, and Lucid said, I'll take this in my own hands. Don't worry about it, guys.
Camouflage, shock rifle, and the posture of a champion. Lucid is coming in, tied up at one apiece. Optic Gaming are locked down in their setup right now. G1, you see two players look like they're trying to address the gold side of the map. They want to try to force their way into Whirlpool, but once they find out Lucid's here with the shock rifle, they might want to change their minds.
Yeah, and there's this push in coming through pipes. Lucid just decided to back down a little bit, buy some time for a teammate, and there it comes in the form of TriPPPeY. They are just going to continue to hold this one down, and that is a dominating hill number 3 coming in for Optic over at Elevator. That is one of the most secluded hills, so it's going to be tough to break in the elevator area, and just showed how well Optic held it down.
Thought he had a frag there. He tried to bounce the frag off the ground, ends up being a plasma. I've been there a time or two. It's the worst, but somehow still turns it into a positive as the long-range shot connects. Lucid now has himself a killing spree. It looks like Optic, once again, controlling almost every side of the map. G1 have found a route. It looks like it's coming over from tower.
And I like that play. One thing that's that was a heads-up play that I just kind of noticed right there is Lucid realizing the numbers game for a moment and saying, all right, I'm giving them a few seconds to push in from bomb center. As soon as you realize that bomb center push was not coming, did not see people flying out from Needler or batteries or any spot, realized that the push was going to be coming from control and just rotates over his teammate and fights a 2v2 over in control. So there's always this element of deduction in Halo where not hearing a call it somewhere, just you get to know that they have to be the other spot. Hey, if they're not over in spots A and B, they're going to be in spot C. And that was just perfect deduction by Lucid along with the timing, just having kind of that Halo 6th sense as you play this game so much.
Awareness, timing, communication. It's so easy to know what's happening on every side of the map. And Optic, they paint a picture for each other, if you will. Lucid, once again with the camouflage, this time having the plasma pistol instead of the shock charged up, just barely missing, but the BR connects, and so does Optic Gaming. 2 down for G1. Another setup is in. You gotta control the A side when this hill moves the whirlpool, and G1 just broke out right through there.
G1 broke out, and they're gonna have to continue the spot, but one problem that's gonna be in place is Formal and TriPPPeY still just holding down this elevator. Looks like they're eventually cleared out, and I like that angle from bubu dubu. A lot of times players, when they're over there near Needler or in that hill, they're going to be very primarily focused over towards batteries and they're back there. But bubu, understand the situation, realizing most members of Optic were down, just unafraid to poke out from that catwalk to clear off somebody in the Mangler pit.
G1 doing everything they can to control the A side. Looks like they're claiming control of that sab, pushing all the way back to make sure that spawn is blocked. But TriPPPeY comes in. TriPPPeY gets himself that kill. APG gonna come right in after him, and just like that, G1 momentarily had control of A side of the map. Optic steal it right back away, and if they hold on to it, this game might just end right here, right now.
This is going to be tough. And when we started to count Optic out, we were saying, all right, is G1 going to somehow take this second hill and get up a 2-0 lead? But Optic have answered. And I'd still attribute it to Optic just being in stronger positions across the map. They just know when and where they can rotate, how they're holding these angles down. And G1 aren't able to take as quick routes despite doing some great starts here, despite winning a lot of fights.
That could have been the final push for G1. There's one more player that Optic have to deal with over toward the A side. Holding on to high ground is Suppressed, and Suppressed goes off the top rope, taking down Formal. Lucid has his back from across the map, but G1, half their members still in control. The other half looking to find their way back on the map.
Yeah, Lucid gonna just jump inside this hill, fight it out, and these members, they're gonna come out quick. Formal and Lucid, the only ones left. Not going to be able to secure that just yet. And somehow Formal does jump in. You thought with 3 members of Optic down, they would not be desperate in that end, but Formal recognized the situation. New players were far enough away and able to now tie this series up 2-2 and bring it to a crucial game number 5.
G1 were in it, but Optic were winning it. And there were so many times that G1 had control, whether it was that Whirlpool side, whether it was the seaside map. So many times where they had control, and sadly they allowed Optic to not only steal away the kills, but steal away the favorable spawns. When I think of King of the Hill, I think of almost like 4 mini games. And you have the game within the game, and you control those spawns, you control those kills, you ultimately will control that hill. Optic, they did just that.
Yeah, they did a superior job after that first hill, rotating, being in positions for the hills, especially when they controlled the hill number 3 over at Elevator. They did that one near flawlessly as they held down that area almost the entire time.
Well, going to game number 5, we know it's always a Slayer. We've already seen G1 win a Slayer, but now Optic have that momentum.
It's going to be an Aquarius. Yeah, we're going to see them on an Aquarius Slayer here in game number 5. And if I'm sticking with this theme of what maps take longer to rotate on, what maps can you make quick moves on, I would place Aquarius on like the subjective scale somewhere. I would say it's somewhere similar to Livefire. I would say it's you can push in a little bit faster than Livefire, but like there's just a lot of smaller like tunnels and stuff where you can hole up on maps, so like hold yourself and your team in a very comfortable spot. But I would still say, like, as far as rotation speed of maps, I would say it's similar to Livefire. So that boded well there for G1, and we're going to have to see if they can somehow keep this up. I'm not sure if that's entirely why we're seeing G1, win or lose these games based on that speed, but I tend to give those longer rotation maps in favor of the higher ranked squads. I think they have their strategies just dialed in a little bit more. They know what routes to take across the map. They know how to have set up well in the future.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I can see similarities with that. The one difference I will say that I could think of between Aquarius and Livefire is like For me, I feel like Aquarius is a little bit less forgiving when trying to block the spawns. I feel like on Livefire, I could just look in one direction and I just accidentally block that spawn. Aquarius, like if you're not making sure you block that blue fridge, they will spawn in blue fridge. Even if you're on blue utility, they will still spawn blue fridge. So I feel like you really have to be on your P's and Q's. You have to make sure that you have a player in there. You have a player literally blocking that kill zone, blocking that spawn safety zone to really punish your opponents like you want to do in a Slayer.
I'm just thinking now on like Livefire, I'm like, did you close the garage? Like, it doesn't matter. Garage is fine. Don't worry about it. And then like on Aquarius, it's like, wait, you didn't check fridge? Like, fridge might be open right now? What's going on? Get over there. Do not let that all get spoiled.
Ladies and gentlemen, Game 5. Optic Gaming going up against G1, and wouldn't it be quite the upset if G1 come through and knock Optic down a peg here in full play? I had people DMing me telling me this would have been a 3-0. I had people adding me on Twitter saying that G1 didn't stand a chance, but look at them right now here in the Game 5.
And kicking it off, Lucid trying to be a turret back at his flag, just trying to defend and see where these members are going. One part of this role is finding out where people are at. Second part of this role is laying down damage across the map. And I think some people sometimes get tunnel vision into just laying down damage. You need to give your team that bigger picture across the map as to, are they sending 2 on each side? Is one side clear? And looks like G1 are going to get the better of Optic off the rip. That's going to be 3 kills here for G1, but Lucid is not done yet. Decides to charge on over, but that's going to be suppressed, and bubu taking out Lucid. 4-1 lead here for G1.
It took almost a full 40 seconds for either one of these teams to be able to get a hold of that camouflage, and I believe G1 did after already getting a 3-kill lead, but bubu dubu lose that heat wave. Sabinater wins his battle here, so he's going to continue to apply pressure. Nades coming in. Finally, Sab goes down, but takes a couple down with him.
So good to hold on to that grenade earlier, too. There's a lot of times when you get teams packed into a corner and fall in an area that you just want to start to chuck your nades early just to see if you can get some early damage before you push in. But Sab holding on to that grenade wisely, and then as he gets into that fight or backs away, is able to somehow secure a kill on MVP Lucid on his way out.
On board now with Suppressed, the newest member of this G1 roster. Wants to prove himself here. And wouldn't it be crazy if they can go against Optic coming with the back smack, turns it into a double kill. Suppressed really getting loud, not suppressing anything right now, and really making his presence known as G1, pushing right up the car side.
And look at that. I like this. So many moments of quick aggression, pushing in on against Optic, and then as soon as you realize the team spawned across the map, you don't have support, you can't push in there, just waits for a moment, tries to observe the situation, see if he needs to get in a close range pistol fight.
10-5 lead. G1 have doubled the score line of Optic Gaming right now, and look at this. Look, this is what we talked about, the discipline of G1. They were going to be tested. They sped up when they have to. Now they're slowing the game down. They have the lead. No need for them to make a mistake. If anything, they want to try to force Optic to be the ones to make a mistake here.
And look at that interesting step there from Optic as they tried to pin that member over towards the opposite control. It was interesting because it felt like it's such a flank spot that they were able to, just from the fridge and just from the flag itself, try to pin a member there to forcefully push them into the base or towards control.
10 kills and 3 assists between Suppressed and Falcated. Out of their 14 kills, literally involved in every single gunfight. As I say that, though, Optic finds some important kills, putting G1 momentarily 3 down. Optic Gaming now have an opportunity to really take control, but once again, the game slows down to that snail pace once again. You could drop a pin on the map, it'll echo.
And Sab just trying to wait for some action going on here. Not able to find anything. Now, as that last member of Camo, making sure not to die is one, most important. But secondly, I would say the most important thing is that last member alive is ensuring your team does not get trapped in one area. And I would feel like Sab and crew did not fulfill that need. Right now, they're all stuck in the space, and slowly but surely, Optic are going to take up more control of the map, and they'll eventually push in with the superior angles.
Sab currently having that thrust, and I love that. An individual gunfight, it usually gives you the advantage, but dynamos and everything coming in. It looks like Sab not going to make it very long. Does enough damage for Suppressed to pick it right back up. Optic, though, overwhelming the fridge side. They're going to clear that right out. APG trying to do as much damage. Caught in the middle of nowhere just a bit, but finds himself some cover, stays alive, and now his teammate is coming in.
And just an unfortunate recipient of that grenade. APG did such a good job spying out 3 members, staying alive for so long, and then realizing once Formal is there, you can poke on out. Once your teammate has that angle, it's a safer angle. So I love that play back and forth by APG, but closing down this lead. G1 still has a 4-kill lead, but look at how slow they are to get this camo. Everyone is just waiting for that first round of slays and that fight before making a move on it. Lucid's going to be the first one, pick off a kill and Suppress. Sab taking out Formal. So 3v3, who's going to push him for this camo? Looks like TriPPPeY and Falcated are going to be the players on each side. That's going to be TriPPPeY dropping down and trying to make a flank to try to help his team get this camo.
I love this play here. He knows that the rest of Optic are pushing up over toward the P side, tries to get behind enemy lines and sandwich G1 in the middle. And because of that, not only did G1 go down, but APG's able to get away with the camouflage. That's a big flank. That's a big time play, a game-winning and changing play by TriPPPeY and Optic Gaming.
And just not letting up on those kills. You see these members of Optic calling out when someone like Sab was weak, hunting them down all the way on over towards Util, charging them from every direction. And that's going to be a nice cleanup there from APG. Take out Falcated. Does eventually secure the kill on Bubu. Got scary for a moment, but the damage has been done, and we got ourselves a tie game. That's going to be scary for G1. As you get a strong lead on a team like that, you want to hold on to it. But as this game has slowed down and gotten into more of a neutral situation, it's clearly favored Optic. Now what G1 needs to do is once they get their full roster up, they need to get some sort of lead, get some sort of kill, and then increase the pace of the game because this slow, methodical gameplay is heavily favoring Optic.
This was just a 1-kill game at one point, and Lucid gets the backsmack onto Suppress, which leads into a 3 down for G1, and with that, took a little bit of that lead. A 3-kill lead right now feels like double digits. A 4-kill lead feels more dangerous. A 5-kill lead now as Optic Gaming are continuing to add to the score line here as we approach the 30-kill mark. Something's going to have to change for G1.
Yeah, and G1 have not gotten these last 2 camos. TriPPPeY has it in his hands. They have these members pinned over at Util in the flag, and how do they decide to make this push? I like this route. This is going to be such a sneaky route. Gets the back smack. I was going to say this could be a little dicey as you start to jump on a player's head like that when you have camo, but Util pushes where it's going to come, and it looks like Optic are just continually just charging on these players. 7-kill lead now, and we have not seen really any different play here from G1 ever since this has slowed down. They've gotten trapped in base after base, and every single time, Optic has slowly and methodically pushed in.
And we're seeing the map control in favor of Optic Gaming right now. We see that car and P-side control being addressed. G1 looks like they want to push right in. Looks like Falcated was able to take down Formal. TriPPPeY doing everything can to stay alive. And I said momentary control for Optic Gaming. G1 break the setup.
G1 break it. And here's their opportunity. They had all 4 down for Optic. Optic are all going to be spawning in the exact same location. They need to identify that location and then push on in. And it looks like it's going to be over at Yellow, Flag, and Fridge, but not successfully doing this damage. In fact, APG helping break out of this Util, and it's going to be kills traded out, but slightly in favor of G1, so not so bad during that exchange.
G1 quickly bring us back within 2. TriPPPeY off screen was able to take down bubu, dubu. Lucid immediately pushing a perimeter, wants to control some alley here, but the high ground and everything else belonging to G1. Lucid ends up going down. Formal doesn't get a trade, gets himself a double kill. That's a big one. Right as Optic are coming off a spawn, this is an opportunity for Optic to take control and grab camouflage.
And this is going to be, what, is that 3 camos in a row there for Optic?
Who's counting?
That is such a difficult power-up to overcome. So all these different times where G1 wants to increase the speed of the game or make pushes of their own, you can't when that camo's on the field. Now that camo's down, they have an opportunity, but they don't have the numbers, so Falcated and Suppressed are going to have to wait for their teammates. They're going to hopefully have their teammates spawn out and spawn across the map so they don't get all trapped in one area like we've seen them for the last few minutes.
That's a big kill coming in from Suppressed, but
double kill from Suppressed. About the best you can hope for in that situation.
Lucid was willing to trade out his life. They already have the lead, but Suppressed definitely making a play to try to claw their way back into it. The question now becomes, is it too little too late? Optic are just 6 kills away from taking the G1 behind by a little too much.
There it is, 5-kill lead, but that feels like a mountain as you're in the 40-kill mark here. Optic, they know that they can slow it down a little bit. They know they can trade out kills where they need to. TriPPPeY just going to wait here, trade out melee if needed, but eventually get cleared out. But that's going to be Falcated, the last remaining member here for G1. 48-41. Optic slowly making their march across the map to clear out these bases and find out where these members of G1 are at.
Just 2 more kills needed. You're seeing Optic start to get aggressive, but they're getting aggressive together. First few shots coming from the Card 2 side. Lucid backing up his teammate from long range, now decided to get a little closer here on the Card 3 side. Optic feel comfortable enough to really just push around the map as they will. They know they're just 2 trades away from ending it right here. It looks like a kill comes off the screen. It's going to be Formal trading out his life with Suppressed. Lucid is leading in with the heat wave, but nobody home just yet.
Yeah, and as he doesn't have the callouts where everyone's on across the map, he's going to just check those corners. He knows that if a team rotate out from blue to pink or from gold to pink, that they likely left somebody back at the base just to hold and anchor that angle down.
Long range heat wave shot connects. Daring G1 to push up over toward the P side. Lucid actually had somebody coming up behind trying to bait the team out so they can switch right out of here. And now the 4th camouflage in a row. Lucid snatches it away, tries to play his life, but his teammate off screen gets the kill. 50-44. Optic come from behind, but take yet another series.
Yes, you got to remember, throughout the series, Optic were down 1-2 after game number 3. Here in game number 5, they also got a slower start. You saw a 6+ kill lead there for G1, kicking off there on Aquarius Slayer. Even in game number 4, losing the very first hill. But Optic prevails. Optic does not drop their first match here, or their match here in pool play, and continue on strong.
Gotta give a shout out to Optic Gaming, but I will say, G1 with a 2-1 lead. They looked good multiple times during that series. If I'm G1, I know it hurts, but I feel like you have no reason to hang your heads low. That's if the best loss you can get, I guess, is the best way to put it. And I feel like they should use that as motivation. Say, hey, if we can play Optic that tight and we can be that close to winning, we can take that out throughout everyone else